I wanted to talk a little bit about some challenges in during the summer and just some things you can do when things are really challenging to just kind of help. And these are you might not be able to do all of them, but maybe something will stick and you can kind of use that when you're experiencing difficulties. So the first one is pause and breathe, and it's kind of like being an anchor, and just letting, or being a solid object and just letting yourself have a moment. And part of, I think, what happens with us is that instead of really pausing and just being, where our brains start racing of how to make us feel better when something is really hard, and we want to feel better than we feel in the moment. And sometimes that's why we want whatever is the challenge to stop, because we want to feel better. So this is a little bit different than that. This is like um, sinking kind of into it a little, just a little bit, and recognizing like this is really hard, or I'm getting really stressed. Being able to say that to yourself, and you can still say, this is really hard and I can handle it. Just need a minute here. That helps so much. It's a self-compassion tool that I learned years ago. And when you're normally would be embarrassed or frustrated at what's happening, to just be able to, like, I like to like actually like put my hand on my chest, because that's where I feel stress and anxiety. Just be able to like, this is hard. Of course it is. And I'm going to be okay, but I just need a minute, and just allow yourself to feel that for just a minute. When we're trying to avoid it, that's what kind of sometimes even escalates it, because we're having a lot of resistance to whatever it is that's happening. And then we start shitting on ourselves, like, I shouldn't feel this way, or I should be able to handle it better. I shouldn't be frustrated right now. And when we just kind of pause, and you can even like take a breath in and count to 4, and then slowly exhale to the count of 4, and just tell yourself like it's okay. It works because it interrupts a reactive loop. It slows your nervous system down and gives you enough space to parent on purpose instead of out of panic. And this is true with anything. I had a professor when I was getting my master's that said, he said that it, like, even with anxiety, it's kind of like, and he said to try it with like the hiccups, where you start like noticing everything that you're feeling, and anticipating when the next hiccup will come, instead of trying to avoid it. And it actually makes it stop. It's like, look right into it. It's like, this is really hard. I feel the pressure in my chest, and I notice my head is getting fuzzy, but I'm just going to take a minute here and just be okay with the hard. The other thing that you can do in the challenges that are going on, especially if you're having a time where you're just feeling really overwhelmed, or that nothing is working and you're really struggling, make a wins list. I really like this idea of just making a list of all of the wins. The other way you can do this, and is, instead of making a to-do list, like, you can have your list of things you're going to do, but as you do them, instead of crossing them off, you have like a whiteboard, and you're listing the things that you did get done, especially if you didn't have a list and it's just all jumbled in your head. So, but the wins list is a running list of things of small wins, no matter how tiny they are. For example, like, every morning you might write down 3 things, like, I didn't yell during that meltdown. Sorry, English is hard today. He asked for help instead of hitting. I offered a hug even when I was exhausted. I gave myself, a 10-minute timeout, and then I came back and dealt with the problem. The child and I were able to step back and take a break, and then approach it. So it shifts your focus to progress instead of perfection. And sometimes, again, we get stuck in the shoulds, or I should have gotten this done, or I should have done this differently, or I should have handled that better. And your confidence grows when you see what is working. So don't forget to celebrate those small wins, the things that are progress. They're not that small. A lot of times when I'm working with parents and telling them, the different things that they're doing that are wins, I'm just like, I can't even believe how much we're doing here, like how good this is. So the third one is to set a micro connection goal. So one small moment of connection that you can realistically give each day. There was a while when all my kids first left home where I just felt so scattered because they were all in different places. And so felt so hard to connect with them. And so I just assigned each of them a day of the week in my own calendar. And each one of those days, I would give them a funny note or just, hey, thinking about you today, and just some small connection. And it just kept me from being overwhelmed that I have 6 kids and they're all different places and I can never see them all or do it all. You can play a 3-minute game with your child, even if it's a cleanup game, like let's clean everything that we can in 5 minutes, and but you're connecting and doing it together. Sit next to them during breakfast or lunch when maybe normally you don't sit down. You're just kind of doing stuff while they're eating because that's your moment. But just take a moment and sit next to them. So this works because connection really builds that influence. Even small amounts, small moments create calm for both you and remind you that we're still on the same team. So just look for those little places where you can connect, and don't forget to be thankful for those instead of kind of thinking, well, that wasn't very much, or we didn't connect. And like I said, sometimes you even have to just have it as part of the routine so that you know that you did it. I had a working mom that I would have her do a connection with the kids when she first got home from work, because she would just feel so guilty. Like she gets home and then there's all the things to deal with and dinner and everything. And I said, we're just going to take 5 to 10 minutes and do connection. And then you can mark it off your list that you did it. It's like, if nothing else happens, it's like, at least I connected with him when I first got home. And it started really working. The kids started really looking forward to it. And then they could ask for it when they needed it because they had that experience. So it was awesome. The fourth one is choose a guiding mantra. I think this is really important. Mine used to be when my son was still at home and was the only one that was left, and he was challenging. And a lot of times I think that I felt so exhausted because of all the things running through my head that I didn't actually say, but I was like almost battling all day long against like the thoughts, and I would just be so tired. And sometimes I would just tell myself, you're doing a job that nobody else wanted to do, and it's going to be okay. Or this is hard and it's all right. Some other examples are, my child isn't giving me a hard time, he's having a hard time. I can be the calm in the storm. Now my mantra is, I have a few. One is love all the people in the story. That gives everybody the benefit of the doubt when I'm struggling, with my thoughts. Also, I like to use that it's okay to have a hard moment and I'm still a good parent. Just being able to like kind of say some grounding phrases that you can repeat when things go sideways. I like to think about being the solid object to I'm going to be the lowest heart rate in the room, reminding myself to take a deep breath sometimes. So it works because it gives your brain a home base to return to. It keeps you aligned with your values rather than being pulled in by the chaos. So it's just, and if you're sarcastic or kind of snarky, it will tend to backfire because you're kind of, your brain wants to think it's right. So if it thinks, that this person is doing something to you, and then your brain is going to gather all the evidence that that's true. And so being kind of snarky about it is like not going to help. So it may make you laugh in the moment, but be really careful about the thoughts that you have, that you are willing to like tell yourself over and over, and really find some other thoughts that are more useful, like that it's this too shall pass is one that my mom used to use a lot. So just, it's giving something solid for your brain to think about even when it has all these other thoughts that come and go. Visualize good enough parenting. I love this. My coach that I follow, she always says to be comfortable with the uncomfortable, or she says to learn that to just do B- work. I was kind of a point grubber all through grad school and stuff. So this was really hard for me at first because I was like, well, nothing's worth doing unless you give it your best. But there are things that are okay to we just get through, and it redefines also, like, just I encourage you to redefine what success is going to look like. And it's maybe different than for your friends that have kids that are not neurodivergent. Or I remember when I was homeschooling my kids, it was like everybody that I knew, their kids were like geniuses, right? And they were finishing, school early, and they were playing musical instruments. And we tried a lot of that. But I'm not very musical. Some of my kids are. And so it was super challenging for me to have that be a part of things. We had to kind of find our things and where our success was, and not base it on what everybody else's was. So what does good enough look like for today? Like, if we get these things done, if we go the whole day and we don't have a meltdown, if everybody keeps their hands to themselves, if we make it, what we started doing was Taekwondo, and we did that as a family. If we make it to Taekwondo tonight, then we would get like everybody worked hard, would get a treat afterwards, so giving yourself permission to kind of let go of the rest, especially in the hard seasons. And sometimes it's not just a hard day, but it's like a hard season. It's like, okay, this other stuff isn't as important as kind of getting through this hard part. So it works because confidence doesn't come from doing it all. The more that you try to do, it's like you're going to just fill that up the next day. It's like, oh, I have to do this again tomorrow. So it's like, what is our goal today? What are we working on today? Today, we might just be working on good responses, or I'm really going to focus on how we ask for something, and how we handle being denied a request. And so just keeping it really simple like that. This gives your brain, able to focus and relax and let some of the other things fall to the side. What is the most important thing that you're going to do today?